Okay, I'm going to try and make this quick. This is how I did my fall edit on this picture. So I'm going to skip a few things that I did. Like I cleaned up her hair, all these stray hairs and stuff. I just cloned them out. So I'll just skip all that just to shorten it because it takes me forever to upload videos because our internet is terrible here. So I'm going to start with a new layer. One thing I like when I do pictures is I like symmetry. So right now I think it's kind of distracting that there's nothing over here, but there's all this red over here. So what I did first was I cut this out here. And then I moved it to this side of the picture. And then I'm going to rotate it and flip it. So I'm going to flip it horizontally. And then I'm going to come in here and clean up this line here to blend it in. So I'm just going to come in here and erase her out of it. Alright. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit because there's a slight gap there. And then I still see a little line up here that I need to come erase too. It's actually down here a little bit as well. So you can see kind of what a difference that made. Now you can come in here too if you want and kind of clean this up or add more red leaves. I think I had cloned in some more red leaves here. But for this sake, I'm just going to leave it. And the other thing I did was I scooted her over because I wanted her a little bit closer to the center of the picture. And then I'm going to come in here and kind of clean up this edge a little bit and kind of blend it as well, like I did the other side. And reclone it and everything I need to do. And I actually want more red leaves on this side. Did it a little bit differently before, but I'm just going to come in here and kind of erase all this because I want that tree back. So I probably should have moved it first, but oh well. So I would come in here because there's now you have 3 tree trunks, and I cloned this out and added more leaves. And then after I did that, I blended it with my blur tool because I'll show you what happens here. So I'll create a new layer, and I want to copy these leaves. Sometimes they look very patchy, so you can see the outlines of the circle. I wouldn't do it this much, but just for this purpose. So you can see there's kind of like perfect circles. So if you come in here with your blur tool and blur it, it gets rid of that, and then it just kind of fades into the background. So I would work more on this if I was actually working on this, but for this video it's fine. The other thing I did was I moved this leaf down because I didn't like how high it was. So I went ahead and just lassoed it and moved it down to where I thought it should be, just like right here. And then I came in here and just erased around the edge of the leaf so it didn't have such sharp cut lines on it. And again, you can come in and blur the edge of this too, so it kind of blends a little bit better. And then I would just clone this out. So I'd do a new layer, come in here, and clone all this out here. And then if you need to blur it so it has a softer edge, you can do that. So you can come in here and just go around the edge. I see a spot I missed there. But that's how I started that. Now, to get your fall colors, so I would take this down just a little bit, and I would up my contrast a little bit too. Then I did a curves adjustment because I wanted kind of darker colors in the back. I might not have quite did it that dark. Actually, do I have it here? Oh yeah, okay, so it's that dark, so let's move this up here. And with this, you can even mask it off of her if you don't want it quite this dark on her. Just do a layer mask and come in here with your brush, I want her skin a little bit darker, so I'm going to take my brush down to like 40 and just kind of erase it a little bit off of her face, just so she has a little bit of light. But I'm okay with the dark, so you can see the difference. The other thing I did was I came in here and played with my color sliders. So I wanted to pull some more red in there to give it more of a warm fall vibe. And then I also added a little bit of yellow. So you can see the difference that makes there. Trying to see how close I'm getting it. And I think I did it even slightly darker and on my contrast. Yeah, that looks pretty close. Then I came in here and kind of worked on her face. So again, I cloned all this stray hairs and loose hairs out of the way. But I would dodge and burn her. So I would come in here and use my burn tool. And then I just wanted to add some more depth in here around her cheeks. And then around her chin and down here, just to add some more shape. And I don't like how bright her nose is with this highlight, so I kind of darkened this area up a little bit too. I'll show you what the difference is. You can see how that added more shape to her. And you can come in here and work on the eyes and stuff like that too. The other thing I noticed when I was doing this is you can see her bobby pin here. So I just patched that out and then you can't see it anymore. And then all this right here needs clone too, because you can see the metal little piece from her butterfly. So I cloned her braid here. So I'm just clicking Alt, or I'm sorry, holding down Alt on my keyboard and then just clicking with my mouse the area I want to sample to paint over this part. And then I also got rid of her ponytail holder here too. I mean, I don't think anybody can really see it, but it was distracting to me. So I just cloned it out because I didn't like it. So, and actually there's a little bit more here that needs cloned out on this butterfly. I don't know if I noticed that originally or not. So I'll show you what the difference is with that. So you can see the difference that makes. And then I think I also, let's take a look. I ran portraiture. So if you don't have portraiture, it is just a retouch plugin for Photoshop that does smooth skin and stuff like that. So I did portraiture, and you can see it kind of softens everything, so I'll show you. And then I am going to do my portraiture as a layer mask. I don't want it on everything. I want some texture in her hair still. So I will come take it off of her hair. I don't mind, for this one I don't mind a little bit on the hair to soften it, but I still want a little bit of texture. Her fingers have kind of lost their detail too. So I would actually bump this all the way up and take it off of her fingers so you can get all that detail in there. And then I always take it off the eyes, the eyebrows, bottom of the nose, and the lips. And in this one, I would also take it off here. You have to be careful because it smooths out your picture, so sometimes you lose some dimension when you run it. So I can show you the difference between that. I'm probably going to take this down though, not quite so strong. So it's just kind of ever so slightly on there now. And then I also kind of played around with my blurs. I'm trying to remember which one I did. I think I did a motion blur on this. Just to kind of add a little bit. And then again, I did a layer mask on this. And with your layer mask, you can do Control I after you do it, and it inverts it. So then you paint it on instead of taking it off where you want it. So for this instance, I did the background. But you know, now that I'm looking at it, I think I did a different blur on here. Oops, I don't want it on that leaf. I can't exactly remember what I did. So it just kind of adds a little bit more blur, not a lot. And then the other thing you can play around with is if you have any actions. Let's see, actually I think I did. This one's a greater than Gatsby action that I use a lot. I think it came in the newborn collection, but it might not have. It's the vignette plus spotlight. So it gives you your vignette. So it darkens your outside of your picture and then adds a spotlight in the center. So I took my spotlight fill down to like 75, and then my vignette, I took the opacity down a little bit as well because I didn't like how dark it was. And with these you can duplicate your background layer. So Control J and then rearrange them. And then merge your background and your vignette. And then you can also make this a layer mask. And then you can mask it off of, like say I don't want her hair so dark. I can come in here and take it off of that. So you can see it just kind of darkens your edges and then adds a spotlight in the center. Let's see the difference. So that is how I did that. Really with these fall pictures, like this is another one I took here. I would darken this up. And then you really just want to play with your curves and then your color balance. And so for this one, I don't have a whole lot of red in the background. So I would probably up it to like maybe 17 and then add just a little bit of yellow in there. But then I would turn that into a layer mask because I don't like it on her. So I'd mask it off of her. So you can see it's just still on your background. There's also, if you get the greater than Gatsby actions, they have brushes in here that you actually, what action is that? I think it might be, yeah, Innocence Workflow. They have all these different brushes. So there's a yellow brush that I use a lot of times with fall pictures, and it just paints in your yellows so you can see if it's not quite fall yet, or you don't have a lot of yellows and reds and stuff in your trees or your grass or what have you. You can add it in, and obviously you're going to want to pay attention around their heads and arms and stuff, but you can see the difference. It makes it fall. And you can also, you know, just clean up your edges. And I believe there is also, just delete that layer. There's also a green brush in here that cools your greens or warms your greens. So for fall, you want those warmer colors. So if you come in here, it warms up your greens. And you can see, you know, it adds those golds and yellows that are fall colors. So that is that. Go ahead and delete that one too. But really your curves, you can do so much with a curves adjustment. I mean, if you want it dark like that, for example, your background, but you don't want it on them, just mask it off. I do a lot of my editing that way, is through curves. The one thing I will tell you to be careful with, though, with your layer masks, is when you're taking it off of your subject, make sure you like really pay attention, because I'll show you. You can see if you look around her, she has a halo because I didn't come in here close enough around her edges. So I see that sometimes, and I think it's an easy thing to do and not realize. So you just want to make sure that you're doing a clean masking job, because if not, you'll have a halo around your subject. So you just come in here, paint it on. But with your curves, you can do so much with curves. So you can see the difference that made there.